Orphan Black Echoes, Season 1, Episode 3, entitled Pegasus Girl. This is Sean's take. My name is Sean Redman. Welcome back to the channel. This is your spoiler warning. From here on in, I'll either assume you've seen the episode or don't care if I spoil it. I'll also use clips from the show, as is allowed under the fair use provision of the copyright laws of 1976. Let's dig in. So this episode is sort of Jules' origin story. We have Jules waking up from her coma in the hospital or in a hospital room, and she gets the pink ink. We know that she's freshly printed. We meet Dr. Pam Teller, who is a therapist that's going to try to help her get her memory back. And over the days, she has Jules memorize her fake family origins. You know, to Jules, she's just learning the people that were her parents who died in the crash, but they're giving her her fake backstory that she doesn't remember. We do see her adopted, I guess is the word, into Neva. Is it Neva? 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 And her sibling Wes. So we see how that started. We do see Jack and Lucy. Sorry, I'm going to go through the episode as a reminder of what happened, and then we'll talk about a review. Okay, so first the breakdown. So Jack and Lucy end up at Bayview, and a nurse overhears them asking about Jules, talking about the nightmare, the bloody nightmare. And she ends up giving them Pam Teller's name. We do see Kira meeting with Josh. Josh apparently was an employee that helped create the printer, and she needs him to check it to make sure it's calibrated correctly, that Lucy might be psychotic. You know, and we see that Kira feels bad about abandoning Lucy, but we still don't know why or how that came to happen, that we printed Lucy or Jules. We do see Jules at school in class dealing drugs. We don't know if this Claire that she's selling the drugs to is just a friend or more than a friend or just a client. Seems like there's a little more there, I think. So Pam Teller ends up pulling Jules out of class to ask her why she skipped school, which would be a weird thing for a doctor to do. Jules goes home after school, and she and Wes go through her pre-coma diary. And as Jules is reading through her own diary, they come across a line that is the same from a novel, and they look up the author, and they decide to go see the author. So then we see the security people, Emily and Tom. They see the closed-circuit TV footage of Lucy entering Neva's office. And Emily, we see, start having her doubts as to whether maybe that they're on the right side or that Lucy isn't what they're being told she is. So Kira goes to see Daros for his assurance that the security won't harm Lucy if they find her first. Kira does notice Emily's discomfort, agitation, uneasiness maybe, and she does get a chance to speak to Emily alone. And Emily tells Kira that it would be best if Kira finds Lucy first before the Daros security team. Kira turns up at the blood drive that they had mentioned in the previous episode and sees her son and his Quaker girlfriend. They're calling the Quakers a cult. Being from Pennsylvania, I'm not sure when or where Quakers became a cult, but we do see that Kira pulls her son's blood sample. So we're not sure what that means. Well, I'll tell you what I think that means in just a minute. So we do see that Charlie is suffering from PTSD, for lack of a better term, trauma, psychological trauma from having killed a guy. You know, she did shoot him in the head. And so Lucy and Jack, they decide to have a funeral so that Charlie can have some closure. Tina does do some quick thinking. Sorry to rewind just a little bit. Charlie tries to confess to a police officer that, fortunately for Charlie, doesn't speak sign language. And Tina handles the situation. And so Jack and Lucy, try to help Charlie find some closure, assuring her that if she hadn't done what she did, Lucy would be dead. It was the guy's fault. The guy's actions led to his own death. Lucy gets a surprise visit from Jules, of all people, and Jules finally believes her. They compare notes on the bloody memory, and Jules has a suggestion. She has drugs that will make your dreams more clear to you. Interesting. Nobody in my high school sold those kind of drugs. And she heads home to get them. So the adopted parents force Jules to take an antidepressant. Probably not an antidepressant, probably a sedative of some sort to keep her from doing extracurricular things. And Jules does a pretty good move in that she actually takes it, but then as soon as she proves that it's not in her mouth and she actually swallowed it, she's allowed to leave the table, and she goes and purges her stomach to get rid of the pill before it's actually digested. Smart, pretty smart. And that's where we leave the episode. So I think we're going to find out that the dark-haired females in this show are not the only printed people. Through the first 2 episodes, it seems like Lucy and Jules are printout copies of somebody. But I think Kira kept her son's blood sample because it would have revealed something. So maybe he's a printout. And probably somebody else along the way is going to be a printout. Somebody that we don't realize yet. I don't think it's going to be Emily. And I don't think it could be Charlie. But I think there's going to be somebody else that we're not quite prepared for. So I think it's good. I think it's great, actually, that we've got Jules up to speed, and Jules and Lucy are now teammates, for lack of a better term, that they are together instead of in opposition. I was worried that might take a little longer. We still don't have any clear idea as to why Kira is part of this, whether she's trying to solve a problem for her aunts or if she's caught up in propaganda like Rachel was in the original series. That was the clone that was working for the bad guys. Excuse me. So I think Charlie's storyline is the one that's the most surprising, in that it seemed like it was a side story at the beginning, minor. Charlie's PTSD is broadening the plot. The father-daughter duo is another puzzle piece that doesn't make sense in the bigger picture yet, but I'm sure it will. Let me know what you're thinking as to where we're headed, if you haven't seen it. I know that, if you're in Canada or some places, you might have seen this entire series by now. So just comment up to here, or if you haven't seen anything, what do you think? Like I said, I think we're going to find out that Kira has printed out a life around her. So I still hold out hope that we're going to have some visits from other characters from Orphan Black, although I would say it would be hard to hide a Tatiana Maslany cameo, especially since we're not the first country watching this series, but it could happen. But that's one of those, I think it would be the cliffhanger at the end. Maybe Sarah shows up, or one of them. So let me know what you think. Let me know what else you're watching. I am going to pick up, I think, Ark, the second season of Ark. That was surprising to me that Ark got a second season, but it did, so might as well talk about it. And let me know what else you worked. And let me know in the comments where you're watching from, okay? I'm in Pennsylvania, on the eastern side of Pennsylvania. Let me know where you're watching from. But that's it for this episode. My name's Sean. This is Sean's Take. I'll see you next time.